Good morning, friends. Dr. Larry Mitnaul, your friendly neighborhood child and adolescent psychiatrist. This morning, we're going to talk about the top 5 things that you can do as a family, as a parent, to prepare you for your child's psychiatric visit. And I want you to get the most out of your time. So we're going to go over the most high-yield things to remember so that you get the answers that you're looking for and that you're best prepared to get a plan and an answer with the psychiatrist that you may be seeing. So stay tuned for that, and we'll jump in. Now, before we do it, there's one more thing that you can't forget, and that is to smash the like and subscribe button. That helps us to break the YouTube algorithm to allow more and more kids and families to have access to really great information so that we can help them to thrive. So thank you for doing that. Now let's get to it. Now, the first most important thing to remember is to bring the child to the appointment. Now, before you snicker and ask, how could someone see a child psychiatrist and not think to bring the child? Well, it happens, and that parent actually may have had Sigmund Freud in mind. So follow me. So Freud published a paper called Analysis of Phobia in a 5-year-old in 1909. In the paper, Dr. Freud describes that he actually doesn't interact with the child directly. Instead, he treats the child through a series of letters with the boy's father to help him overcome his fear. So why do we need the child? It's harder to be tailored in our recommendations for helping a child to thrive. And in the evaluation, among the other data points that I'm getting, I'm also observing how kids interact with strangers, how they do with the familiar, with their family in the room. And there are certain things like child's movements, their conversation pattern, their eye contact, and then also the vital signs and things that are part of the visit as well that help us to detect conditions that may seem related to emotions, but which actually may be non-psychiatric conditions. So the child is important. Right. So the second thing to remember to help you get the most out of your visit is the parent, the guardian, the caregivers, right? And often this is plural, and it's helpful to have the different perspectives of a child's life from those who know them most intimately and observe them. I mean, often even grandparents and parents in the same house will have very different interpretations or observations about a child's behavior, and so having all of those factors in the room as we talk through a child's behavior can be really, really helpful. Okay, so third, other tests that the child has had will also be helpful for us to see. I mean, your child may have had what's called a 504 plan or individualized education plan, which represents some special accommodations or modifications to a child's school day. And these are helpful as it often can summarize some of the psychological testing that may have been done by the school and help us to understand some of the benefits that they receive through that. And kids may also have other testing that was done outside of the school. So if you can bring these in and you have access to them, those can be really helpful for the child psychiatrist that's seeing your child. All right, number 4, packets. So many clinics will offer families a packet to be completed prior to coming in or being scheduled that asks for developmental questions or information about their child, family information, things like that can really be helpful and crystallize a lot of family history in one spot. And so in my clinic, we've moved away from packets, which has had several benefits for us actually, in that we're a little more green than we were before, and families get to see us sooner because they're first meeting with our nurse practitioner to kind of get the ball rolling. And the 5th most beneficial thing to be sure that you bring are any medication lists for your child. And that's for any type of medication that they take. So diabetes or seizure or asthma, and certainly if they've taken any related to behavioral health reasons for anxiety, depression, that sort of thing. I mean, thankfully the digital age has made some of those lists more accessible to us by our phones and things. But often our kids have, we've moved or you've been connected to several different pharmacies, and so being sure that you have that information can be helpful so that you don't spend a lot of the appointment playing the guessing game while your clinician guesses through whole families of medication to get to understand what they were been on before, what you guys have tried, and what have or haven't been successful for you. So hopefully that's been helpful in summarizing some of the top 5 things to be sure that you get the most out of your child's appointment. And thanks for listening. Take good care, my friends, and be well.